scream and stand up for America. No one wants to fight for Israel.
Why are you here? Why are you getting arrested?
Free Palestine, from the halls of Mount Azupa to the shores of Tripoli. Palestine will be free.
Oh my God, they broke his arm. Oh man.
We just witnessed a Marine veteran interrupting the hearing, and they broke his arm.
Why did he interrupt the hearing?
Because there is a war in Iran, and our military brothers and sisters are going to die for Israel, and we are here to say no.
Important to know that Iran is preparing for the U.S. and Israel to carry out a ground invasion. Something tells me that it's going to be mostly American troops who risk their lives in this operation. And that's precisely why U.S. Marine veteran Brian McGinnis was protesting the war in Iran and was forcibly removed from a Senate Armed Services Subcommittee hearing in the Capitol just yesterday as a result of his protests. Now, Cenk, the war is incredibly unpopular with the American people. Poll after poll has demonstrated that. And senators are literally breaking bones if our own veterans protest this war. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so we're gonna get to the numbers on how unpopular the war and Trump has become. But I just wanna say that man right there was a patriot. That's what patriots look like. And I've got a warning for the establishment. There's a lot more patriots to come, okay? There's going to be a political price to pay for not serving American voters. So I love McGinnis and I love what he did.
Absolutely. So Montana Senator Tim Sheehy, he actually assisted the Capitol officers in removing McGinnis. And as you can literally hear in the video, which we're not gonna play this part of it because it's horrific. You can hear McGinnis's arm snap, his bone break as they're forcibly removing him from the chamber. Now, McGinnis is the one who now faces multiple charges, including assaulting an officer. And if you look at the way legacy media has framed this whole incident, they're just making him seem like an unhinged, violent person who like physically assaulted people. The Capitol police officers were treated for their injuries, according to ABC News, but no reporting on what happened to Homeboy's arm. Is he okay? And McGinnis, if you're unfamiliar with him, he's a 45-year-old Senate candidate who is running in the Green Party. But what really warmed my heart, Cenk, is the fact that people across the political spectrum have been defending McGinnis, and I'm talking about like far hard right wingers who know that he's a Green Party candidate. And they're like, I don't care about his politics. Okay, he's a Marine veteran. He has served our country, and for him to be treated that way is unacceptable. And to people who are defending him across the political spectrum, despite political differences, I really love and respect you for sticking up for what's right here. Now, he was expressing what he was expressing in this protest was sheer disgust that the United States is engaging in a war against Iran that no one voted for, including, by the way, members of Congress. Now, unfortunately, today the War Powers Resolution vote failed. It doesn't look like Congress has any interest in maintaining even a modicum of a check on the executive branch when it comes to war powers, because they don't want to be held responsible for voting in favor of wars that go sideways, kind of like what happened in Iraq and what's very likely going to happen in the Middle East now. So the war against Iran is not popular with the American people, and the Israelis know it. And so I want to take you to Isaac Herzog, the president of Israel, who in a sit-down interview with CBS News acknowledged how unpopular this is in America.
What do you think this war does to the US-Israeli relationship going forward? And I ask because it's not a popular war in America.
I understand it's not a popular war in America because, usually people do not know the intricacies of the war, and they also compare it to previous and other wars. This is a unique war. And I listened very carefully to Secretary Rubio's statements yesterday in Congress. It's a unique war, it's a focused war, it is a war that comes in a time where you can really bring real change in the Middle East for the future.
That last sentence was a giveaway. This is all about real change in the Middle East for the future. Now, what does that mean? Now, this war isn't actually all that unique when you think about it. I mean, it's more unique in that Iran is not a joke. I mean, it's a country of 92 million people. I think a lot of Americans have been misled into thinking that it's like some third world country, when in reality, it's a sophisticated society with incredibly intelligent people. And so, and they also don't know about the various political differences and factions among the public in Iran. They seem to think that, Persian Jews in Beverly Hills, California represent the entirety of the Iranian population, but that's just not the case. And so, yeah, it's unpopular. And the only thing that makes this war unique is that it's an instance of a country like the United States, a military superpower, getting dragged into a war on behalf of a tiny Middle Eastern country that we don't benefit from at all. So I guess it's unique in that way. But what do you think, Cenk?
Yeah, so first of all, it's trippy that the Green Party is now filled with veterans who are against war. Anthony Aguilar, a retired lieutenant colonel, who's a whistleblower on the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Those are the people killing the Palestinians while they were getting food. He's also running in North Carolina in the Green Party. So, I mean, that is a hell of a turn. Like, the political spectrum is so, it's gone. I don't know what's left, right, or middle anymore. It's fascinating times. Now, meanwhile, Sheehy, of course, is an Israeli goon. What I mean by that is he's pretty young to the Senate, new to the Senate, and he's already gotten $641,000 from AIPAC at a minimum. All the AIPAC tracker numbers are the bare minimum because they also get dark money and money into their super PACs that they can't track. So an Israeli goon comes in and breaks a US Marine's arm for protesting a war that Americans are going to die in for Israel. I mean, this is crazy. And so that's why they're so intensely unpopular. And Anna, you're right about that last sentence from the Israeli president. He's basically saying we're remaking the Middle East, and we know why they're remaking it. They want greater Israel. And they want every one of their neighbors to be defenseless. And now, interesting thing, one of the top businessmen and folks who have a lot of power in the UAE came out today saying, what did America do to us? Why are we in the middle of this war? Just because Israel wanted it? Now, UAE is like the top ally of Israel in the Gulf. And even their top folks are going, what's going on? Why are we getting hit for Israel's war? I think the UAE thought that Israel was on their side. Israel isn't on anybody's side. It's only on Israel's side. So they'll use the UAE for as long as it's convenient. They'll use America for as long as it's convenient. And again, in the interview I did earlier today with a guy who's actually based in the UAE, we're talking about how they're going into the Indian government now and agitating against Indian Muslims to rile up India to support America. That they're starting to jump from here to there because they think they need a new superpower to help drive this stuff. So in the Middle East, they're remaking it for themselves. We have no interest in remaking Iran. Iran had no chance of reaching us with non-existent nukes that they didn't have and ballistic missiles that had absolutely, literally, physically no chance of reaching us. So this is Israel's war, and we're all being made to pay the price. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.